So when I'm saying God's divine truth, am I saying that the right way, or just say God's truth?
Well, God, when we say divine truth, which is what we talk about, we're really saying God's truth. It's the same thing, isn't it?
Same thing.
Yeah, we're really saying that the divinity is only in the fact that it's God's, and it is all God's truth. Like, it's funny when we talk about divine truth on earth, the average person thinks, we're talking about a sort of certain area of life, and that's called God's truth. No, we're saying there's not a single thing that can happen to you in any experience that isn't a part of God's truth. God's truth affects absolutely everything, right down to the infinitesimally small particles that govern your very being. They're all part of God's truth. You understand? There's not a single thing separate from it. You can create the illusion you're separate by calling it your truth, but you're not. You're living still in harmony. The laws are still having the force upon you that they're going to have, and it's all determined by God, and none of it's determined by you. All you can do is choose to live in harmony or out. And out is an illusion, because you're still not out. You understand? It's like, I think I'm a God creating my own laws. No, you haven't created a single law. You haven't. God's going to destroy they're temporary. God's going to destroy every one of them, so that you haven't really created one. Even your creations of sin are temporary. Right? They are realities that you create, but they are temporary, so therefore they're not existing in the infinite. They're gone, they come and go, based upon your acceptance of truth, God's truth or not. Right? So God's truth determines absolutely everything, and it's so important to understand that. And we can't have a conversation about all these other things, even the introductory things of what God's truth is about, how the human soul is made, how the body is made, spirit body, how the spirit world works, and all these other things. We can't cover a single subject that has ever been presented or ever will be presented without understanding some fundamental facts about the fact that it all comes from God. It's all God's truth. And there's many people in the spirit world, even in the sixth sphere, that are in this illusion that they somehow came up with a fancy truth, of their own. And no, it's a lie. It can only be called their lies. Unless it's in harmony with God's truth, it's their lies. Yeah. And you're allowed to have lies even in the sixth sphere. You are. Many of them live in the complete lie about the nature of God. Right? You're allowed to have them because you're allowed to choose them. You can be a perfectly loving person while at the same time choosing lies. It's much harder, I must say. But you can. There are sixth sphere spirits who are human still, who are in that state where they still choose the lies about God. They're still in that place where they're choosing the lie. God doesn't say to them, you're not allowed to be happy to a certain degree, to the human degree possible. Because that's what you have in the sixth sphere. You have the happiness of the human to the most degree. That's the limit of your happiness. It's the limit of everything. It's the limit of knowledge, limit of happiness, limit of experience, limit of fulfillment, limit of everything is there because it's the human limitations. Remember last week we talked about the human limitations. God created us all with human limitations, and we can only exceed them by receiving part of the divine. So, sixth sphere is the human limitations of happiness. They still think they're pretty happy. And what God decided for the human happiness to be far exceeds what we have here on earth. What we have on earth is misery. On earth it's basically human misery. Right? And when you compare that with what they have in the sixth sphere, which is human happiness, there's a huge, huge discrepancy between those two places, as you will all find out at some point in your future when you visit the two places, right? You'll see the discrepancy. But that's not the same as really God's happiness. God's happiness is only possible by receiving a part of God to experience that. And it far exceeds anything human can imagine. Just like everything that you receive from God can far exceed everything you can imagine. Even the truth you receive from God will far exceed what you even imagine.